Hello everyone and welcome to a very special episode of the Nickscast. Why is it a special episode? Because it's a con report. I'm playing it straight today, okay?
Yeah, freaking con report. Let's do it. Let's get it done.
Well,
Business time.
it's almost 2 o'clock in the morning, so...
Exactly. We had fun. Good night. Who started first today? 9 o'clock, anyone?
I feel like I probably started first, 10 o'clock.
Hold on. I'm T.
It's not important.
I'm not T. I'm important. I'm Z.
Thank you.
Oh my god, I'm G.
And I'm just here.
Hey,
Sorry, the goat.
you criticized this yesterday.
I know, I was making a good joke. I'm like, that's what I said. That's what It's called a callback.
Okay. You were asking about who had the earliest thing this morning?
I think it was you. Did you get 10?
Anybody got 9?
No, I was up for breakfast.
We were
at
sleeping
9.
till 9.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't count.
Yeah, we were
Doesn't
sleeping on it.
count.
It was
Go
great.
for it.
All right, Z.
Yeah, I was up at 10, well before 10, to get to a panel at 10 for Fairy Tale. I was a panelist on this year's Fairy Tale panel.
See the,
Really?
Oh,
Let's
see
see the pipes.
See the guns? See the guns again?
I didn't realize you were doing a fairy tale
Yeah.
panel.
Well, after the panel, I kind of lost my strength, like Popeye after he's finished with the spinach.
But it carried you through.
It carried me through, exactly. And it wasn't as bad as I expected. The other hosts had warned about spoilers. I didn't catch up. I haven't watched any of the movies or OVAs or read any of the manga.
How are you on this panel?
I think because they needed a fourth, and because I am really enthusiastic about the series. I really like it. It's just that I don't really make a lot of time to watch stuff and read manga, which is, kind of maybe reason to wonder why I'm here in the first place at an anime convention. But,
Okay,
so
the
went
answer
well
was
then?
they needed a 4.
they needed a fourth. Last year the panel a little bit behind the scenes, a little bit behind the curtain here at Anime North. Panels work like this here. Basically, as long as you can get 4 people interested in doing the same kind of panel, and that panel gets approved, then you're good. But you need 4 people. Last year what happened is there were people getting together for a Fairy Tale panel, but I think there were only 2 or 3. Because more often than not, what people will do is they'll say, I want to do this panel. One other person will say, I want to do it too. And then nothing happens. And that panel doesn't happen as a result. So yeah, they did need a 4th. I felt grossly underqualified. But
But how did it go?
I think it went really well. It sort of reminded me of a Game of Thrones panel I went to a few years ago at Anime North. Because, at first people talked about, the arcs, story arcs, and the characters. But then, in, the last 10 minutes or so, a lot of people started to ask about, where do you think the series is going? What are your theories? What are your ideas? What are your ships? And, when the ships question came out, I was like, what do I say? But everybody in the audience and everybody on the panel was just kind of going with, official ships that are understated or, not between the cast of 4 or 5 main characters, but between side characters. But I mean, the biggest takeaway is that Fairy Tail is a series that has a lot of character development of everybody in the cast.
Fairy
So,
Tale, a
ships.
series of diversity.
Yes.
As long as you're white, or if you're a woman, you have big breasts.
We all know, T, that in anime, ethnicity is defined by hair color.
Wow.
11. Anybody have anything for 11?
Yeah, actually, I went to
Breakfast?
I had the choice between anime metadata panel and YouTube. As it turns out, I met up with somebody who had gone to the YouTube panel, just randomly.
Oh, yeah.
And they said it was pretty much the same as in previous years.
Yeah.
So I didn't miss out on anything.
Yep.
All
I
right.
went to the anime metadata panel, which sounded really interesting because I am a huge nerdo, and I wanted to see what kind of data I could track or whatever. As it turns out, it was a great panel to learn about, understanding your likes and dislikes a bit better, how you can do that. It's use my anime list. This guy wrote a particular website to track a whole bunch of different stats, witcheffect.com, where you can find out your average rating. You can find out how much anime you've watched in the last month, whatever. I think you might be able to do pivot tables and stuff. He talked about all those different ways that you can explore the data that you have. The one thing that I was looking for, and didn't have was like, okay, so how can this can answer questions about my viewing habits, but it doesn't give me any like future looking stuff.
Doesn't have anything to act on.
Yeah, it's like, am I going to like this show that G recommends, or that the goat found on some other panel?
So it didn't end up with him saying, well, like, from all this you can pull out data like, I really like this batch of series from 2001, therefore I like 2001 anime?
You can answer those questions, but I just like, the kinds of questions that you could answer, I was just like, I don't know if I'd want to put in all of this effort, because I haven't done any of that tracking, and I'd have to backfill it all, and I'm just like... So, like, long story short, I would definitely, like, it was a great panel, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Okay.
Which is unusual.
I was very interested in that one.
Yeah.
I like the idea
I do
of
have
analyzing
some
the
notes
data.
that I can show you later.
Okay. I like the idea of taking the data of based on your viewing habits and seeing what that means about you or what you would like. But instead, I went to Goat and I went to the one cosplay panel I attended, which was cosplay past, present, and future.
Much more interesting than I expected.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
With world famous cosplay.
Yeah, Han?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, she's been doing it for quite a while, since '99, she said.
Wow.
And so she mainly talked about with past the difference between like then and now.
Yeah.
People were in like Yahoo like mailing lists
Yahoo
and being
groups.
like, I don't know,
E-groups.
I guess you can just use acrylic paint on your wig or whatever. like the blind leading the blind.
I like the one comment where it's like, oh, you could hot glue that to your skin? They're like, oh! Please tell me it's not a real nugget of
She
advice.
described it was just like people just fumbling around in
Yeah.
the dark trying to make costumes of these things they love. And I talked about one particular photographer, I wish I remembered his name, who was responsible for having a lot of pictures of all of that stuff. He would go to 30 cons a year
Oh, wow.
and just take pictures of everyone cosplaying, which at that time could fit in a shot.
Yeah, as she put it, he was the first one to meticulously document cons. And yeah, like it's exactly as he said, you'd have like 10 people in a shot, 30 maybe on the outside, but like...
Yeah. And so she talked about how it's kind of evolved to where it is today. She's basically like the standard of cosplay is higher than it was.
Yeah.
But also there are a lot of like cosplay like consumer friendly places. Like you can just buy a costume from someone now.
Yeah.
Or go buy wigs online.
Yeah.
None of what you could do then.
Yeah. Probably a lot more easy access to stuff like makeup and body paint, that kind of thing too.
A lot, just googling like what you're making, and people being like, oh, if you can't use that, use this or use this technique.
Yeah.
Like all of that is now available.
And then kind of by the end of the panel, they kind of touched on the fact that like the industry, when you talk about like patterns and sewing and all that kind of stuff, that like it's an industry that is no longer supported by, you know, the mother of the family sitting at home making clothes for the kids.
Yeah.
It's the cosplayers now, and as a result of that, a lot of the more noted companies who are responsible for providing these materials are partnering up with the cosplayers themselves, and so it's
That sounds like a recurring trend, like in all industries, like
Yeah.
YouTube and Twitch and etc. Partnering with the people who make the stuff.
well, it's like again a point that was made in the panel. All the people who were kind of fighting against their parents 10 years ago to do this stuff are now raising their own children. So it's
Yeah.
changing the
So
climate.
it was really cool from like an anthropological
Yeah.
viewpoint to see kind of how that's changed. 'Cause
Did they get into the future at all?
Not really.
not other than what we just we're just talking about right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally unrelated to that panel, but perhaps showing the growing acceptance of cosplay. I don't know. I don't know if you guys saw them at all, but I did not. There were no extreme right-wing evangelical Christians saying you're all going to hell for dressing up like fake characters.
Oh yeah, I didn't see those this week.
Yeah, I wouldn't mistake that for acceptance so much. Maybe they just gave up.
That's a kind of acceptance.
Yeah, well, tolerance, I guess.
It was a
rather
busy
than
week.
acceptance.
They were probably fighting the transgender laws that are being passed in.
We need more people at a Trump rally or
Yeah.
something.
Bigger fish to fry.
Yeah.
I guess so.
What were people up to after that?
Um,
Oh, one.
I had a
actually,
break. They only
yeah.
have anything at 12.
I don't have times down here, but like I know that while you were at Anime Metadata, I was trying to get into mecha and creature design, but the line was too long. And then I skipped what was up next for me. And then I almost skipped what was up next for me. But I made it to fan etiquette.
Yep.
A very small panel in a very big room.
A theme. A theme for today. Today it felt like there was either no one there or it was packed.
Yeah, lineups sprawling like along walls for many feet, many meters.
I'm feeling the dread of seeing pictures from Comic-Con where people are just camping for their favorite panels, and I don't want that to happen.
Or a situation like fan etiquette where it's a room that probably seats easily 150 people, but only had
10?
10. Yeah. Still a very good panel because they talked about things like, when do you step in, like how do you deal. A lot of it had to do with sort of like the relationship between creators
and fans.
Yeah. And they talked a bit about like how we're in a consumer society, and a lot of people see creators as just another kind of factory, another kind of like thing that makes this stuff. And like what they were getting at there is that people need to recognize that people who make stuff, writers, artists, game developers, are all people, and as such, sometimes they just don't want to do stuff, or sometimes they're done with a project and they're moving on to do other stuff because they have more than just one idea.
Yeah. It was less about like fans with each other, and more about like interacting with the creators, and not like getting angry at George R. R. Martin.
It got a little bit into fans interacting with each other. They didn't really get too into it, but they talked a little bit about like if you see somebody starting to blur the line between fantasy and reality with stuff like Lolita and Shotokan and that kind of thing.
What's your responsibility?
What's your responsibility? Do you step in? Do you just hang back? What do you do? But they didn't really develop it much beyond asking that question, almost rhetorically.
Well, if they have it next year, hopefully more people will do that. I thought it was pretty interesting.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
So people interact with each other.
Yeah. They also talked about stuff like anonymity and how people can be jerks when they're on the internet because nobody knows who they are.
Gabe's internet F-word theory.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Internet plus anonymity equals total F-word.
I have that T-shirt.
It's a good T-shirt. Illustrates the concept very well.
Yeah.
Right.
I went to a couple of panels after that. One that I'm not going to talk too much about, just because it wasn't very well populated and it was mostly a presentation.
Okay.
It was about the global otaku movement and the International Otaku Expo Association. I think.
Okay.
Basically, it's an organization that's just like, hey, Japanese animation is actually crazy popular. Like, there are more fans of Japanese anime outside of Japan than there are in Japan. And so it's like, that cultural moving back and forth is great. And also, in Japan, and I'm like, probably giving this a disservice, but like, people in Japan have no idea that how crazy fandom is over here. They're like, oh yes, I imagine people do enjoy anime manga.
Not
and some
envisioning.
People, and some people like occasionally dress up as characters. Yes, that sounds. But like having no idea.
What goes on?
Yeah. So it was mostly about that. I ended up bailing on it early in favor of the Let's Play panel, which was mostly a Q&A, but was still pretty informative.
I like the Q&A format actually. I remember last year. The Goat and I went to it, and it was a lot more of them kind of sharing stories about how they got started, about how other people like use visual tricks to get around using capture cards on handheld consoles.
We don't need to rehash that.
all sorts of stuff like that, and then there was just a little like 10 minutes for questions at the end. But this year was like, I am this person who does this person does this, etc., etc., etc. And then they just opened it up to questions about pretty much anything, streaming, copyright stuff. Yeah. How do you make it interesting for your viewers as well as yourself? How do you do it alone? Yeah. Because that can be hard just to play off of your own ramblings.
What apps do you use? How do you promote it?
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest takeaway for me was, and I kind of knew this because it comes up anytime you're talking about anything about promotion or whatnot. It's like, not podcasting, Let's Plays is a very saturated market. So, use word of mouth and social media for that. For whoever was talking, it was like Reddit. Reddit is the most successful channel for them at getting people to talk. And the other big piece was, it's all about personality. At the end of the day, you are entertainments.
Yeah.
In the case of Let's Plays, people might watch it for the games, but they're fundamentally being entertained.
I don't remember if it was at that panel or another panel, but somebody at some point today said that the only thing that you can really bring to stuff that you create is your own personality. So it's really important that you bring that out, that you be yourself.
It was me.
Yeah?
That's me that said that.
Okay.
Was that at the last panel?
It was at the podcast. That was the podcast panel.
Perfect.
Quotations. G.
Perfect.
But my biggest takeaway from Let's Play panel is that there's a device that you can use that just
I
records
wrote that down too.
video game stuff and cuts out the need for like a really high-powered computer, which is incredible.
Yeah,
Why
except
can't you buy it? I don't want it anymore.
wait, really?
It's I got a brand new LGX GC550.
Oh, that's why you were asking about. Okay.
And it does all that and a little bit more. It's
Okay.
it's heavy, but it doesn't do at all what I want it to do.
The scariest thing about that though was it's just like you're going in blind, so it's either working or it's not.
Well, I mean, right now we can't see anything running. We're just running on faith that thing's actually recording and not
It's
paused.
not faith because like
You can see it
with,
blinking.
with that device, it's just a black box. If somebody was on the other side of that camera, they could just be telling us, yes, it's working, yes, it's working, yes, it's working.
Okay.
We just don't have somebody on the other side of the camera.
Isn't it the same thing?
No.
But you do. But you don't. But having somebody on there's. Okay.
We don't need to have this
We don't need to
discussion
have
now.
this discussion.
Yes, it's working.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
That's good.
The one thing I wanted to mention that I checked out was the wrestling.
Yeah.
The wrestling. Out in the parking lot in the little canopy there.
What?
32 degrees.
Yeah, at least they had shade.
Feels like
Um,
37.
But I think it was wrestling for people who are not that interested in wrestling. It was a lot of crowd work, not a lot of wrestling.
Oh,
One of the tag teams was the Power Rangers, for crying out loud. And in the middle of the match, they just did like Zord, activate for like 5 minutes. Like, what is going on?
They did that last year, though, as well.
I didn't see it last year. But like, wanting wrestling, it was kind of disappointing.
maybe they had more serious wrestling at a different point.
Maybe they did.
Maybe it's tomorrow.
It could be.
Okay.
But like it was fun. The heels especially who were against the Power Rangers were hilarious. They just like kick him down and be like, "Look at your heroes," and everyone would be like, "Boo," and then he'd be like, "Yes." It was great, like really, really, really old school tag team wrestling where the ref holds the faces to the highest possible standard and trusts the heels implicitly. The heel will be like, "Oh, ref, I got something in my eye," and the ref will go over, and then the guy will take out like brass knucks and like beat him behind the ref. Like that stuff is super fun.
Classic camp.
Yeah, but it was playing broad.
Yeah.
But it was alright.
It sounds like you still had fun at it.
I did get done. Yeah.
Oh, good.
You wanna this moves up chronologically quite a bit in the day, but like we can jump around.
Yeah.
But like the next thing that we did was go to the 2015 in review anime panel, which was like I didn't have much expectation going in, but it was better than what I expected. It was the description was like a few anime from 2015 get covered in the schedule. Here are the ones you haven't heard about elsewhere. But the way it was set up, there were 4 panelists, and they had 44 different anime to cover, and they'd go through the panelists, and they had to basically give a pitch in 60 seconds as to why you should watch it.
And it was awesome.
It was great.
That was really cool.
It was effective.
Yeah.
I have a laundry list of anime to watch when I get
I
home.
must have written down at least 20.
Most of them. I think I left like 3 of them out.
You're like, every pitch has been successful. I'm enjoying this.
Well, no, that's not entirely true, because at the back end it was like they had a category for ones that were specifically do not watch these.
Yeah,
You don't watch it. Waste your
overrated.
time.
Yeah.
Which was hilarious.
That's
in
fun.
itself.
People, like, we went there because we didn't really know any of that anime. We kind of wanted to see what people recommend, what was going on. But people who were in the pen or in the room and knew what was going on were very vociferous, especially when it got to the overrated and the word like.
Well, briefly touching back on the metadata panel, this guy talked about his own rating system.
Yeah.
And it was very atypical. Like, it went like bad, meh, average were 1, 2, and 3. So basically, his average is really low because 3 is average, not 5 or whatever, or 7 or whatever. And so he like very quickly like had some examples as he went through each bullet. People were like, wait, that's not like average. He's like, look, I'm deliberately going through this because I don't want people to argue about these.
The dude moderating managed to sneak in the rating he gave like almost every anime that he mentioned. I don't know where he rated them, but
He came off as a very skeptical guy.
he was like, yeah, I give this 4 out of 10. No one else had any rating system or anything.
No.
But
It was all like, did he have anything higher than a 7?
he had an 8
Okay.
for one of
I
them.
wonder if
Yeah.
it's the same guy.
It could be.
It was funny.
It was a great panel though. I'd definitely go again next year.
Oh, they were very entertaining, they had a couple of cracks here and there off the cuff
I know.
about different animes and stuff.
Like there wasn't a lot of audience interaction because there wasn't a lot of time for it, but it was like boom, 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 next thing. It was great.
The audience interaction basically is summarized in, as soon as he said the name of the anime, you got a pretty good idea of how well known it was. Because there was some there was some disgust. There was a lot of disgust.
Some cheers.
There were some cheers.
Given the nature of the panel, it sounds like the exact right kind of
It was.
audience participation.
You know what? We went to the one last year about SNES or RPG games, I think.
JRPGs.
That's how that one should have been run.
Yeah.
You remember that one was just a wholesale where people just shouted out what they wanted?
They just went console by console and said, hey, you audience, what do you think?
An idea for next year.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's how that
Yes,
panel
I
should have
can
been
bring
run.
that back.
Alright.
Helped Fairy
Working
Tail
our
come
way
to
up.
life this year.
Working our way up to 5 panels each next year.
Yeah. Speak for yourselves, boys.
Yeah.
I'll just sit in the audience and ruin
We
your
could start
panel.
with 1.
I like just interrupting you guys and trying to break your line of thought. You know?
I also tried to get everything, and then you guys talked for a while. Try to get into Pokemon biology.
Yeah.
Couldn't. The
Because
line was too dang long. Which is like, I'm like, this is becoming Comic-Con now. So I had to get a line for a while.
question...
I think it was the only Pokemon panel.
It was. I'm pretty sure, yeah. But my question actually is, when did you, were you trying to get into that panel immediately after another panel?
I can't remember. I think we went to see the wrestling and then came back about 10 minutes before it started, and the line was like...
Yeah, 10 minutes isn't enough anymore.
I'm very disappointed in that fact.
I found today that for the most part, if you have 2 panels back to back that aren't within 5 minutes or less of each other, there's no way you're going to be able to get to both. On average, anyway.
I had that problem this afternoon where I'm like, I could do this one that's in the Sheraton or this one that's in the International, and I was just like, I can't go to both of these. I can go to the one and transfer to the other, but that's it.
Yeah. It's almost too bad that they don't have. I guess they need another hotel for this, but they don't have video rooms where they just simulcast all the panels.
Oh, or just stream them so you can watch them
Yeah.
on your phone. But then,
Perfect.
you wouldn't have to go to Anime North at all.
You just watch it.
Yeah, well, but the only way you'd be able to participate as an audience member would be if you were live and in person.
Yeah, but
It would deter people from going to the panels for
It
sure.
would deter people from buying a membership and going to Anime North, and it falls apart pretty quickly, actually. Yeah.
Because as soon as they take it that far, then it becomes, hey, let's integrate Twitter, and now they've got live tweets and
That's true.
answering tweets. And you don't want to go down that way.
It's just then why have a con? Just do it online.
Yeah.
On con.
On con.
Anyway, what else do you guys do?
There's a bunch of other things that I don't really feel like touching on. I went to one on, just being cognizant of time.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 I went to one on making games, and it was a Q&A format, and it was great because the people running the panel went straight to the point. I got some good notes in there that I'll probably revisit later. The one gem of a panel that I would not have expected and sounded interesting from the get-go and maintained that interest was composing and producing anime or music for video games and anime, run by this fantastic guy. I'm going to call him Jack Black, even though I know his name is David.
Oh yeah, we've got his card here.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Because we had to bail early to do our podcast.
Panel.
You know what? Whatever.
Did the same thing.
I know, I did it twice.
Do it all weekend.
Doing it all weekend.
That was a great panel.
That was a great panel. This person, I had no idea how old he was, apparently 23 years old, has a lot of experience in the music production industry, and basically gave a crash course in not about the composition of music, but what goes into making it. So not about how you arrange the notes, but all about how you go from like somebody hired you on to produce music and what that process looks like.
It was absolutely fascinating.
It's fantastic.
He came off as an experienced speaker too. He was very.
He was good. And he stood out because he was not sitting behind the desk. He was walking in front of people,
Oh,
like
nice.
walking back and forth in the room, and be like, "Oh yeah, you got a question." Like
You
he
got
was
one in the back.
Very engaged.
Was it?
You two arrived late, but they actually gave access to the room a half an hour early. So he held a mini panel before the panel, which was mostly recapping probably the ups and ends
Yeah.
panel that we couldn't make. But just like, he was very knowledgeable about that and very passionate about what he was talking about.
Now, does anybody know? Like, it sounded like he'd done a lot of work with Rooster Teeth. Does anybody know if he actually is a Rooster Teeth?
No, I don't think it
I don't think
was.
he is.
Yeah.
No.
But I just worked with him on it.
It's, yeah. It sounds like with productions like that, the video editing, video processing, video production, kind of rotates a lot.
He's gotta be
Like,
really
there's a lot of,
tight
like
with
kind
that.
of freelance stuff.
He's
going
got to
on.
be really tight with that group because he kept bringing up specific members' names as well as the different subgroups that fall under
Yeah.
that
But
company.
he did work for them.
And
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
but after the fact, when I was trying to get your card, it was actually a fight to get a business card out of him. He
Did he
dropped
only
some.
have one?
He had 4.
Oh.
And there was like 20 people trying to get them.
Oh,
I
wow.
got one of them, and then there was just a line
Oh,
of
thank
people
you.
taking pictures of that card that was in my hand.
I mean, that's not so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind
But
of
it was a bit of a fight. But yeah, unfortunately I can't say it on camera, but I'll have to tell you guys later. He dropped a very exciting piece of news about Screw Attack. So he's on the
Wow.
inside about some of this stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I don't
like,
think you. Whatever.
If
Keep
you-
going.
Specialty news.
stuff like that. I'm just going to say this. Stuff like that. It's probably like more freelance and contract based than you'd expect. Just because, from a business perspective, it makes more sense to hire somebody on as you need them, instead of like paying them for work that they're not doing.
Oh yeah, but if they work with him frequently enough, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
He's probably in the circle somewhere.
Oh sure. Oh sure.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to be a regular employee to be in the circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And then after that fantastic panel, we rushed to our panel where we did the Lazy Fans Guide, which was not as well attended as last year, but
No.
nobody left the panel.
It was at midnight.
Yes.
It was at midnight.
Yeah.
Late panels, people are tired.
Yeah.
No surprises
No,
there.
we got some
Yeah.
people in the audience.
Oh,
But
yeah.
the people who
We're
panel.
engaging some
The
people.
people who were there were interested in what you had to say. They were
That's the important thing.
Yeah.
We had a good time.
I got some
Yeah.
good notes for a very special project.
intriguing.
Watch this space.
This is the audience's cue to pester T online and through every avenue of social media. until
Yes, if
he
you attend the
drops
fan
the-
etiquette panel, do the exact opposite of that and just harass him until he produces the content that you want him to.
Yes. He is now creating things, so he's no longer a person. He's just
He's a machine.
a machine.
Well, guys, isn't that how Book 6 of A Song of Ice and
Urge to
Fire?
Kill.
started?
Yeah, if you yell at George R. R. Martin enough, he will produce a book.
Absolutely.
Sorry, Z's
Panto. Panto.
Yeah.
Panto did.
I mean, end scene.
Yeah.
Well,
I forgot what the gesture.
You went to
Yeah, I went to a
anime
few more
versus
things.
science?
No. Unfortunately, I didn't get in there because it was full.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
there was a lot of panels like that this year. It seems
Most
like.
of the stuff I had planned for today, either I kind of lost interest in because, when you're before Anime North, when you're setting up your schedule, everything looks awesome. Then when you get in here, and you see this panel and that panel, and then you kind of think about things a little more, and stuff that looked cool at first is like, yeah, I could give that a miss for dealer's room or food.
There's excitement here.
But I did go to a Japanese and anime and manga panel, which was a lot like one that I went to a few years ago at Anime North, because they just gave you like watashi wa nikarasu desu, and so on and so forth.
Very basic.
Very basic
conversational Japanese.
Conversation, like putting everything together. It's like, I like this anime. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's okay, I guess.
Kako ikimasu ka?
Kakoi desu.
Kakoi desu? Is the...
It's cool.
Cool. Oh, yeah.
Or
That's
stylish.
Yeah. Not super helpful.
Conclude this. I speak Japanese.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remembered this year for me. Not that we're done, but like there was a big emphasis for me on like doing new stuff. Today, even though it wasn't very long, I went to the Rock Band qualifiers.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. So the idea was that you play 2 songs with your band,
Okay.
and then whether or not you continue is based on a combination of like your flair, your like your costume, your how you actually did on the songs. So I don't know if we're gonna make it, but I was with like this random person that I met, and this other random person that I met, and I hope we make it to the finals, but I don't think we will.
So today was just the qualifiers, and then they like
They post
review your song and figure things
They'll
out.
figure out a score, and then somebody, like whoever signed up for the band, has the contact information, so
Yeah.
they'll contact them if we get to get into the finals.
Cool.
Which would be good to know, because then I know what I'm doing tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
made a solemn promise today to not bail on panels. I'm not really interested in the viewing rooms with workshops, so panels are most of the content that I do here.
Yeah.
And I planned to go to 6 panels. I went to 5. The only reason I didn't go to Pokemon Biology because it was full. I
Yeah.
went to possibly way more panels than I've been to in a day of Anime North.
I mean, it gets tiring.
It does, but I
Yeah.
did it. I did 3 panels in a row.
Yeah.
10, 11, and 12, last one being ours. I consider that a victory.
Yeah, that's impressive, especially so late at night.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also went to a Food in Japan panel, just to wrap up my list of panels.
Would you?
Information.
It's such a Z response. I'm not surprised. I'm just disappointed.
Anyway, it was really some parts of it were very straightforward, and other parts were very interesting because like they just talked about common dishes in Japan, some regional variations. They talked a bit about Kit Kats and all the different regional variations.
Oh God.
What?
And,
you talking about what?
Kit Kats?
Kit Kats?
Kit Kats?
Kit Kats?
Kit Kats.
Kit Kats?
Kit Kats.
Kit Kats.
Kit Katsu.
Kit Kats. Kit Katsune?
Watashi wa Kit Kats desu.
Continue.
Just keep going.
Cool.
Different from previous years. What I did was just talk with more people, just like random people I was waiting in line with. I'd chat them up. I was talking with somebody who turned out to be a writer, but I didn't have any business cards or any like thing to give contact information. So, yeah.
That's my biggest regret so far.
But
Well,
small
Connected
steps.
with
Just
people.
I mean, I've connected with people. It's just like there's not much of a likelihood that that connection will be something that continues into the future.
That's on
I saw-
you.
Oh yeah, I know, absolutely. But I mean, like in the past, I would never talk with anybody except for you guys.
Oh, yeah.
I saw a guy wearing a Bullet Club t-shirt and bandana with a replica WWE title belt.
Oh wow.
And the Bullet Club's thing is the old NWO thing of too sweet. And I passed this dude. And I said, "Too sweet me, bro." And he did not want to do that. He did it, but I could see in his eyes he was not interested in doing it. So I'm sorry, sir, for asking to too sweet me. I thought you would be excited about it. But
Hey, if you're gonna walk around with that shirt and that belt,
I
you have a responsibility.
I thought you'd be up for it, but whatever.
That's like the cosplayer who doesn't want people taking pictures of him.
That's totally. Hey,
That's up to them.
that's
fine.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
People are like, I got places to be. You look like a creep. I don't want. I just don't want people taking pictures right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I passed a lot of cosplayers, and all I said was, "Hey, awesome costume."
I did do that.
I'm
like,
just saying,
if
don't
like,
be surprised.
Yeah.
Oh,
If
yeah.
I like someone's
Yeah.
costume, I'm just like, "Hey, your costume's great."
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I don't like taking pictures.
I don't
I
know
know these guys are
pictures.
great.
I always feel really awkward taking pictures because
Yeah.
it's hard. I know when the picture is taken, but like the person posing for it's kind of just waiting for me to say, "Oh,
Like,
thanks."
yeah.
It's, yeah. Anyway.
It's a little weird.
Any
I
other
don't generally do it either.
Mm-hmm.
any other big stuff people want to talk about?
Talk about swag quickly.
Oh yeah.
We got some swag.
Yeah. You want to do your swag?
Sure.
Sure.
Better watch out
boy.
when Sun and Moon come out.
I'm already qualified.
Oh,
Face the
man.
Elite Four of Kalos.
That doesn't look like Gary Oak. That's not 12 badges.
Yeah, I have the correct amount. Well, I'm right. I got
man.
the 8 kilos gym badges. Well, I'm so happy I found these for a reasonable price as well.
Awesome.
And now I can. Well, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I have these badges now. So Elite 4. Watch it.
Elite 4. 1, 2. Interesting.
We've been the Elite
There you
Four
go.
all along.
Me?
You walking around with your disdain of Funko Pops to eat your words today.
Usually by this point in the con, I would have bought quite a few things already.
Just start eating the words.
Yeah. I have long been very critical of Funko Pops. They are pointless things. They gather dust, and I don't understand what they do. But I saw the one today that I had to open my wallet, and I had to get it. And it is probably the last... I'm going to say probably because I don't want to eat my words again. Probably the last one I'll ever
It
get.
tastes like information.
I'm glad I pointed it out.
Yes. It was, to G's credit, he pointed out, he knows me too well. So I'm now the proud owner of number 312, last week tonight's John Oliver.
Bonus, doesn't have spider fingers.
Does not have spider fingers. Still looks like a creepy English parrot in glasses. Very well preserved.
That's what you want, yeah.
Yes. Definitely have that parrot feel.
Amazing.
That's my only swag so
It
far.
will never end.
It's begun.
Probably gonna be a little more swag by the end of tomorrow, I imagine.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely.
A whole Sunday dealer's room deal.
Oh yeah. CVP? Or MVC?
MVP?
PVC?
Most valuable chip.
GCP?
MVC. MVC.
NVC?
NV.
ABC.
Easy as 1, 2, 3. You're welcome.
Most valuable cosplayer.
Most valuable cosplayer. Your Saturday pick, anyway.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
Of
You
course.
guys think
You know-
it through because I have no idea.
You know what? I saw a lot of amazing. It's almost silly how numb you become to people who have amazing costumes. Because so many people put so much work into their costumes. They look incredible. But if you don't know what it is, you
Yeah.
appreciate it less. You'd appreciate a worse costume for a thing you know more.
Yeah.
And like all that stuff. So here's what I'm gonna like. I'll probably remember more as you guys mention them. But my favorite. Okay, two mentions here. First of all, one was a dude that just had a shirt that said "I hate anime," which made me laugh so hard.
Picking a fight that one.
We had gotten into some conversations, and the other one was a dude who just had a sign that said "I came for the plot."
Yes, I saw that guy.
I was clever.
So those were two really clever, simple things that I saw that made me laugh really hard. So kudos to you guys.
Yeah. I didn't have any that made me laugh, but there's this person going around dressed up like, I don't know the class, but just as a Zerg from StarCraft, the bug-like insectoid alien race.
I saw an alien from
And-
Aliens, but
No, it was a Zerg for sure.
Okay.
About 6 feet tall, 6 feet long.
Oh.
Basically like a centipede that's kind of up on its
Oh,
hind
wow.
legs.
Yeah, with the...
Yeah, with little
the
men.
what are those things
sliders.
called?
Yeah, but it was an enormous costume.
Lord.
It looked really well done.
Gene? No. Gene
But
Steeler's
I've got to
Tavern is.
say, I've got to say actually that was tied with another costume I saw. That was more conceptual, because there was this woman going around with a dress that she just bought from a thrift store, and then painted over with all of the, well, maybe not all, but at least most of the characters from Studio Ghibli movies.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so there's like Totoro, a bunch of the characters from the other ones.
Princess Mononoke, maybe Spirited Away.
Probably. Spirited
Howl's
Away was
Flying
there, that one
Castle.
character.
Porco Rosso.
Porco Rosso.
Legend of
I didn't know it was
Earthsea.
Porco Rosso.
That cat.
Grave of
Who
the
returned.
Fireflies? Somehow I don't think Grave of the Fireflies.
Perhaps
No,
I
no,
could.
no. Kiki's delivery service, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was really well done, and like it was an amazing dress. So those are my two most valuable cosplayers of Saturday. My two top picks.
I have no idea. I took so many pictures, so I'm just going to say Metatron.
Oh, what?
You found a Metatron?
Oh, cool.
I found several Metatrons.
As in the Alan Rickman's Metatron?
No, from Undertale.
Oh, okay. I see a lot
The
of those.
robot, yeah.
I wouldn't know that immediately because I never actually played Undertale. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with that. I also saw a Dipper.
I saw a couple Dipper and Mabels. I saw a Mabel with the light up a sweater that she has in the intro. Yeah. I'm like, whoa.
There's definitely a lot of Undertale cosplay. It just doesn't jump out at me because
I recognize
it
the
doesn't have
skull.
significance to me. Yeah, there was
Yeah.
a lot of
Virus
that
and
going around.
sounds. Yeah.
I'm just trying to think now.
I saw Bill as well, Bill Cipher.
Oh, I wish
Yeah,
I
there's
saw
two of
the
those.
That was
Cypher.
really well done.
I have to say though, after Alan Rickman passing away earlier this year, I'm a little disappointed there wasn't a Metatron now.
I'm sure there
It'd be
was.
pretty easy to do, right? Just like a jacket over a hoodie and
And some wings.
Then,
Yeah,
you,
dark
then
hair.
you're the doctor.
Well, get the
one of
wings
those
in there.
yesterday.
Maybe a fish or a fire extinguisher. Okay, well, first of all, I have to step back and throw in an honorable mention that I forgot from yesterday because this makes me laugh, and I'm sorry, Green.
Yeah, I know you are.
My most an honorable mention for yesterday was G here, who did a fabulous job of dressing up as the nostalgia critic.
By accident, I don't care for him, but I guess he has also impeccable fashion taste because I was wearing that pseudo military style cap and a blazer, and someone's like, "Hey, are you doing nostalgia critic cosplay?" At which point I immediately took off the blazer and the hat. But
Violently.
yes,
The disgust was palpable.
I didn't know that he wore that.
I'm pretty sure you were still technically in a conversation when you did that, too. It was fun.
Yeah, it's made me aware of some things. But
oh boy.
he's a snappy dresser.
That's true.
That's it.
That's true.
So, yeah.
Okay. Let me think. My pick for MVP today, you guys will be aware, and if anybody's actually watching my Twitter, which happens from time to time, I'm told. I went on my first round of bingo today. I went on
Cosplay bingo.
Evolution bingo. I wanted to find all the Eevees, and I did, in fact, find them in the end. I didn't get a picture of one of them because of consent, which, hey, all the power. She was quite polite about it all. Great. But I did find all the Evolutions, 8 plus Eevee,
Yeah.
myself, 9, so that was cool.
Cool.
And I mean, they were really well done. It wasn't like, like, onesie
Yeah.
look like the actual
They were like inspired,
Pokemon. It was
inspired by.
inspired dresses.
Yeah,
is what
which is I love seeing like Pokemon inspired outfits. Like we saw Articuno and Zapdos.
Yeah.
They which were really cool too.
I've seen a Charizard. There's been a bunch of them kicking around actually.
I didn't see them in person. I only saw them through a photo, but they were like these mecha Pokemon. I think there's like a Mecha Volteon and like a Mecha Charizard.
Oh.
Just like they look really blocky and mechanical, like the stuff that people were wearing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Cool.
yeah.
And I guess my MVP for the day, again falling on Jest, is to all of the cosplayers who did such a fabulous job of nailing Nick-at-nite.
Glasses and.
We've been
t-shirt?
mistaking people for you all day.
Okay.
I was sitting in a panel yesterday, and the guy was dressed exactly like you, the same clothes you were wearing yesterday. I had to kind of get around on like a 3/4 profile shot to see that he had facial hair. It was the only difference, I swear.
Okay.
Your evil twin is running around at this convention.
I doubt that.
You never know. Tragically
Oh.
separated at birth. Well, I think that's the cosplays.
Yep. Any other thing to say about Saturday?
Nah.
I'm sure
Yeah,
there'll be
That's
plenty to say
probably-
tomorrow.
Probably it.
All right. Well then, let's sign off. Signing off.
All right, thanks for
Nickscast.
watching. See you
Good.
tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.